Max.
Go.
Eagle. Go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps. The cabin link check. Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Here's a disclaimer. I am not the qualified expert.
I don't think any of us are.
Just saying. We are not licensed physicians. Therapists. No, we're not. No. Psychoanalyzer stuff. No. We just
been through some shit.
We've been through some shit.
And we have a ticker.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Tick. I'm a ticker.
Boom.
I'm just the kaboom.
Oh, if you're the kaboom, I guess that means I'm the
F-bomb.
Fuck is my favorite word. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Fuckity fuck.
I can say it in 6 different languages.
We have a ticker. We have a ticker.
So, happy Monday, y'all.
Happy Monday.
Hey, Scott. So,
Damn it.
my weekend was impactful.
I knew he was going to go there. Just ignore the laughing otter and keep going. Just ignore the laughing otter. Just keep going.
I have a visual going.
Well, you know. Just saying. He might have appreciated me more when he was in Arizona. No, I'm kidding. No. My weekend was filled with grandson and fire and
Hey, Scott.
fun. Grandson got some new boots.
Cool.
I saw that.
We definitely learned that, the only reason why Papa is important in his life, or I should say Grandpapa, is because he has the truck and the keys.
And I noticed that cute little picture with him holding the keys with boots on.
Oh yes, yes.
That's cute.
Yeah, we had to make him his own set of keys. Because Lord help me, he stopped my heart this weekend. I told him to go give Grandpapa the keys to his truck. And all of a sudden, there's the baby and no keys. And my heart like dropped. I was like, oh man, Jesse's going to have a heart attack. Where
Yeah.
are these keys? So there's this like, the little Power Wheels gator. And I go over there and I'm like, Osias, I'm like, where's the keys? Where's Papa's keys? And all of a sudden he reaches down and he tries pulling them from behind the seat.
Mm-hmm.
He had gotten wedged down. Oh, I was like, oh my God, I hope we can take this thing apart to get the keys.
Right.
Yeah. And then he had whiskey throttle. It was his first time he found the pedal. And usually Auntie Baby's the one to hit the pedal, and then she helps, him
Steer.
guide the way. Yeah, no, there was no Auntie Baby, but there was a baby with a foot on the pedal, and he just ran straight into the cactus and the fence. Jesse goes, "Yep, he whiskey throttled it." So yeah, it was a fun weekend. It was fun,
I like that
especially
term.
grocery shopping with him.
Whiskey throttle. I like that term.
Yeah. We went grocery shopping with him, and you guys are going to appreciate this. As we're checking out, I found the one lady who had checkout open, and I'm like, oh, thank God, because if I had to go through self-checkout with these two, I'd be checking myself into a mental hospital.
Understand.
Like,
Understand.
He's all over the place. He's your typical 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
She was super excited to get him though, and the kids, because she said she could hear him laughing throughout the store, and she was wondering what was making all that noise.
Not who was making all that noise. What was making all that noise?
What was making all that noise? And he walks up. He's like, "Hi," and then he goes all shy. So yeah, that's enough about my weekend, y'all.
Well, I'd just like to say real quick, welcome everybody to the Otter's Den with your hosts, me, Jan, and Renee, where we talk about all kinds of
Stuff and things.
life stuff and things, and ghost stuff, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I like goats, not goats, ghosts, and cereal, and they have combined ghosts into cereal. It's kind of like blueberries, but then my mind takes over and it's like boo what? So I might have to go to the grocery store and look at the box.
Of boobies or blueberries?
Yes. Hey, we got ticker. We got a ticker.
Yes.
Anyway, yes, welcome. Tonight's subject is, ladies,
Difficult family. Wait, hold on. Were you saying tonight's subject was us?
Dysfunctional?
would I say that?
What, dysfunctional or difficult?
Yeah.
Mute him.
Denise. What boobies, Barry? Now, see, with that comment, I just saw Jan out in the desert with a shovel, boobies burying something.
No, because according to grandson number 2, grandma needs an excavator.
A what?
Hint, hint, hint. Excavator.
Excavator.
Okay.
You say it right.
I got you. Well, see, during Halloween season, I mean, you can make some extra money digging holes out in the desert. You know, somebody give you $100, you take their package, and
My kids did that at the yard at Daddy's work. They made this hole with the mini, and it looked, and then they put a cross of it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They actually found bodies here, kids. We shouldn't be doing that.
Hey, Heidi.
Oh.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, families, complicated families, whatever we want to call them,
Mhm.
Assholes.
we should talk about the energy line. Echo.
Good.
Oh, you guys are just passing it on to me right away. Okay, I see how this is
Look,
going.
you went through it with me before the show, and you explained it perfectly as far as I'm concerned. So just take it and roll, and me and Renee will interject when, if we need to.
So we have our bloodline, right? We have our energy line. And sometimes people don't understand energy term of
Right.
frequency. The first thing that we ever felt and heard was our mother's heartbeat. The first thing that was ever pumped into creating to us was our mother's heartbeat. So the mother's heartbeat is basically what created our frequency, right? Her frequency of her heartbeat was pumped into us. Now we have our own frequency because obviously we have our father's bloodline as
Right.
well. And that's what makes us all unique, like fingerprints, right? And this is why it's so important. Um, our heartbeat is so important.
Mm.
It's healing, it's comfort as a mother, especially as a woman, especially. And I find that most generational curses come from the mother's side of the family, not the father's side of the family.
Okay, I can. Okay, I can
Does that
see.
mean you can
I
see
mean,
that?
I can see that, but
I'm not
could
saying
all.
it doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. And then one other thing that you have to remember is because me doing DNA with Ancestry to
Yes.
help my mother find her siblings, you have to remember that the X chromosome does not change. So it goes from, so like my mother, my grandmother's haplogroup is, and I'm putting it out for the universe, but then again, it's already there. So the government already knows who I am.
Yes, they do.
Is U5A1. Okay, so that's my mother's haplogroup, which is my mother's, so my grandmother's. That haplogroup does not change, does never deviate. So when I was pregnant with my son also had my mother's line, my grandmother's line, my great grandmother's line, my great great grandmother's line. So like it doesn't, and that's the same thing for the male version, which is haplo group, right? So, and I don't know what my haplo group is because I'm not a male, so I don't get to know that when they do my genetic testing. I don't get to know that unless I have my sperm donor tests, and then I can find out what his male line is.
But you know the difference between male and female. I'm proud of you.
Oh, 100%. Just saying. So, as for us women, when we're pregnant, and now when we're pregnant with a girl, at that time, in one moment in time, even though you do not exist yet and your mother is pregnant with your grandmother's pregnant with your mother, that is the only time the three of you are synced together.
Yes, that's where
Because we have ovaries, we have eggs, and you're born with a set amount and number of eggs. So therefore, in that moment in time, even though I never met my grandmother, I think I tend to know how she operated and how she thought
That
because
frequency.
I feel the energy from her. That's why it took so, like, when I found out the true story of my grandmother, now I know why the sadness and why I think I was such a hellion, because I think I really take after her, where my mother really didn't. She took after my grandfather. You can definitely see that, where I see a lot of similarities. So it's the trauma, things that happened to her, bad, not so much bad juju, but just bad things, bad circumstances, bad poor choices. Did they skip? Well, that too. I mean, did that skip my mother? And because, not saying my mother doesn't feel energy, but I do. Did I absorb her her shit, her junk?
But your grandmother created those eggs that were inside of your mother, right?
Yep.
So
Yes.
that's the frequency. So, like when I was pregnant with Abby, I tried very hard not to pass that along,
Mm-hmm.
knowing, right? I very consciously, not subconsciously, I very consciously, just through the trauma I was going through, had to really push that aside because I don't want her children feeling my pain.
Yep.
I didn't want that frequency and creating not only a life, but creating future lives with inside of her to have that generational pass on, right? That I tried really hard to change that frequency, to breathe through it, to understand that trauma happens, shit happens, you just gotta, push on, right?
Yep.
And that frequency, I hope, was calm enough in the creation process
Mm-hmm.
that my grandchildren don't feel it.
Right.
And that's part of breaking generational trauma, generational curses. We
Versus.
may still have to go through it. Our
Mm-hmm.
children may still have to go through it, but hopefully the next generation, whether we live to see it or not, will not have to go through that trouble. So do we do it
Right.
for our children? To a point. But I believe that we do it for our grandchildren
Great
more
grandchildren.
so, and great grandchildren and the generations to come.
Thank you,
And,
Ed. Appreciate it.
and I always add one thing because some people forget, and some people either they don't forget or they don't know, which is a big one. A lot of your ancestors, descendants, ex, whatever you want to call them, your past, past generations, they have trauma and they have, oh shit, life moments happen that because I know I've done it, I've healed something here that I know wasn't mine, that I
Yes.
was told that it was, you know, my great grandmother, like my sixth great grandmother. And it's something that I'm like, wait a minute, but I've never had to live through this. I never had to think about this. Like, why am I thinking? I heal it for her. So she has rest. She's resting.
Yeah.
She finally gets it's like, I always try to tell people, it's like, because here it is, the Catholic in me. They're in purgatory for whatever reason, whatever it is. And it's like, that's what's their stone that's holding. And if I could just get somebody, listen to me, get this stone up off me, I can go and I
I
can
just
be at peace and I can feel and I can do whatever it is, whatever they wanted to go do. They wanted to reincarnate, they wanted to be a guardian angel for somebody, they wanted to be a spirit guide, or they just wanted to like sit on a cloud, drinking a mimosa and have their feet up, whatever it is that they want to do at that point.
Yeah. It's like you
Yeah.
gave them a get out of jail free card.
Yes. So a lot of people tend to forget, like, if you're working through something, or because let's use the TikTok phrase, or the Instagram, or what's the cool thing that's going on now is, oh, I'm healing my past traumas, or on my past lives, or my past spirit guides, or this or this or this or this or this, right? Which is it's a cool thing to do your shadow work, but you have to remember that shadow work may not just be yours. That's grandma, great
Yeah.
aunt, could be an uncle,
Right, Scott.
whatever. Because you are that, because you were knitted in your mother's womb. You are that catalyst because they knew, they meaning spirit, God, whatever you want to use, right? I'm happy with whatever you want. They were the one that, because that's why I always say I was chosen to carry this burden. My mother wasn't. And for me to rip my hair out and go through this and try to knit and find out things that she never said to people, never told family, didn't even tell her own mother or father, things that just happened, decisions, poor planning, born in the wrong time period, all that against her. There's no way my mother could have handled it mentally, but I know it was put on my baggage and me. And I said, wait a minute, this is not mine. But you know what? I had a lot of shit in life that matched her story. When I got her story through, and I said, thanks, Graham, because you know what happened. I healed her and I healed me so that my son can just walk through life, not saying that shit isn't going to happen to him. Like, it doesn't make it perfect.
Right.
It's going to happen to him and he knows it. But his life is going to be a hell of a lot better than mine was, my mother, my grandmother, my great grandfather, whoever it may be, uncle, aunt, whoever it is. And he gets to see how you can navigate.
Yeah, absolutely. My father's side, I kind of went through something similar, but yet not similar. You talk about generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this happened to be a blood curse. And it kind of relates to Scott's comment there about, he's always had a fascination with Scotland, and he's 33% Scottish. When we come back, we get amnesia. We can't remember nothing. But sometimes we get glimpses of our past lives. It could be in a Drago place. I'm drawn to Australia. I'm drawn to Scotland. I'm drawn to Ireland, Germany. My family is from Germany, my dad's side of the family. And we figured out that one of my ancestors, very much, killed a fae. And so they placed a curse on every firstborn. I'm the firstborn. And they placed a guardian with that firstborn. It's not a guardian for the firstborn. It's a guardian for the fae. So that firstborn goes near any fae, whether they know it or not, they get to live it knocked out of them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this thing set up camp in my backyard. So anytime I take the dog out, go to the garden, I would get hit. We finally figured it out, took care of it. Now it's my buddy, but it affected my dad, his dad, his dad, his dad. So I took that out of play. My dad took another generational curse out. His father, my grandpa, I don't think I even ever met him, was very abusive. Would tie the kids up to the clothesline on a chain, whip them, all 9 yards. My dad put an end to that. So he stopped that part of the generational curse. And that could be from that thing.
It could be.
And I stopped that so that neither one of those two things go to my kids, my grandkids. So in a way, that ancestor was a problem family member. Okay. But we healed that, so that healing may go all the way back to that person.
Well, and that it's a good point about we'll talk about boys because boys are still created in their mother, right? Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, everything. I believe that everything goes back to the mother. Mm-hmm. I will put it on women fully. So that energy line. It's still that frequency because like I said, you have your mother's frequency and you have your father's frequency, but your father's frequency was created by his
mother. Yep.
Right. So that's
who was put into a mental institution for paranoid schizophrenia, but she was not sick. She was gifted. That's where I got my gifts.
Same with mine.
What's that? No, we're okay. Yeah, we are. We, we, we're not crazy. We're okay. Ask them. They'll tell you. Are we okay?
We're okay.
See?
I'm okay now.
All right. All right. We're good now.
I got the medication, so we're all good. No. Um, um, and that's where difficult family members come in from, right? I mean, let's look at it. So say my grandmother had 7 kids, 1 girl, rest boys, right? They had their kids, and we all share the same type of frequency. Well, when you have bad frequency, that bad frequency continues to pass. And that's where you may fight with your cousins, you may fight with your aunts and uncles, you may fight with your brothers, sisters. You know, it's how do you change that, right? You know, that's the ultimate question, is how do you change that frequency? Well, you can always elevate your frequency.
Yeah.
So
if you choose to.
You know, that's where a lot of this comes into, is you have to be, that's that free will that we always talk about, that free will, right? That you want to change better for your next generation, because when you're a light worker, energy worker, this stuff that we talk about makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and even as you heal as an adult, like my kids, they're seeing that. They have seen me change. And so now they are paying attention to new moon, full moon, astrology, stones and crystals, healing. It's passed on down the line.
For like my family, I look at like my grandmother's side of the family, suicide family. And what did I experience? I experienced my son committing suicide. So how do I change that for my grandchildren? Well, I'm going to give them more purpose, more of an understanding, be open. That depression does run in the family, that this runs in the family, you know, just like you would with cancer. You know, when they ask for your family's history, there's a reason why, right? Well, we can change those frequencies. So I pray that the way that I handled my son passing on is not going to affect that next generation inside of Avelina, right?
Right.
I pray that, you know, with the boys watching, that they know the signs. We're very open about it. We're very communicative about it. And hopefully we can break that by changing that frequency.
Yeah.
That's one thing it's like frequency is energy. You cannot destroy energy. You can only change it.
Yep.
So that's what we were talking about.
I mean, you can go look it up. Recently, because I saw it on a news article, a scientist decided to put cremated remains on a slide and put it under a microscope. And guess what do you see? You see energy particles, sparkles.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's your proof. Energy cannot be, it can be created, but it cannot be destroyed, because you're still radiating energy off of those remains.
Yeah, and so you have a toxic family member, okay? You might be vibrating up here at this frequency, and they're listening to the media and believing all the bullshit, and they're down here, okay? Said that for a reason. Okay, so when you two try to communicate, it's like walking up to a microphone and getting the feedback. It's reverberation. The two energies are repelling each other. But if he could raise his vibration up to here, then you would harmonize, like country singers harmonizing a song, okay? But they always try to bring you down to their level. So you can't let them do that, because that's just going to f you all up. So you stay high, and worst comes to worst, all you got to do is look at them and say, hey, there's time for me to go. Bye. You don't have to give them rhyme or reason why. You don't have to give them an excuse. Well, I got to go here. I got to do this. No, so I'm done. Have a good day, or have the day you deserve.
Yep.
Be blessed and highly favored. Whatever you want to say, you can just walk out. Family function, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I don't give a what it is. If you don't feel comfortable in that situation, get
And that's something, so I was talking to my ex-husband a couple of weeks ago, and I had mentioned the fact that I had not spoken to my mother in 5 years.
Mhm.
And he said, "Don't you think it's been long enough?"
It's up
No.
to you.
I said, "No." I said, "I have forgiven her, but I will not forget, and my life is better without."
And we forgive to heal ourselves, not
Ourselves.
to let them off the hook.
And I letting her go, I let my sister go. I let my cousins go. I let all of my aunts and uncles go. So if you go on my Facebook page, the only relation that you'll see to me are my kids
Mhm.
and my grandkids.
And that's
Because
okay.
that's what I choose. That's what's important to me. I'm not saying that I don't love my family. I love them where they're at.
Mhm.
But my vibrational level is completely different than theirs. It always has been. It always will be, and I'm not going to let them bring me down. So I have chosen to completely walk away from my family. They can't even pick up the phone and call me. I don't care.
Yeah. Getting back to what you were saying, you know how our mother gives us a frequency and we're born with that frequency. Okay. How we're raised affects that frequency. Okay. So if we're raised in a toxic family, it's going to lower that frequency. It's our job to figure out how to get it back up. And our ancestors, our moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, they don't have all the healing tools that we have now.
No.
They didn't have all their advice. We do now. So it's kind of up to us to help to heal them as well, even if they have already passed.
And that's breaking the generational curse. Like I told my ex-husband, I said, my grandmother didn't have a good relationship with my great grandmother, and my mother didn't have a good relationship with her mother, and my great grandmother didn't have a good relationship with her mother. It was brought down, it was passed on, and I refuse to have that with my only daughter.
Right.
I refuse. I will not let that happen. So what have I done? I've taken out all the static in my ear, right? Because when you get
Yeah.
around these people, all you hear is and it changes your vibration and it changes your frequency, and then you're
Yeah.
stressed out, and so I'm
You
choosing.
should do that. You shouldn't do that this way. You should do this way.
Yeah,
I get it.
I like to call
Wait.
it the cosmic junk that they like to throw. That they just don't know they're throwing shit. They don't know they're throwing gunk.
Passive
Because that's
aggressive
how
bullshit.
they don't know it. Because once again, like we said, they didn't have the tools and things that we have now.
Right.
And situations, like I said, were different. Times were different. Things were different. Also, too, you have to remember that they were raised in shit and they didn't know how, their parents didn't know how to raise them. So therefore, what was their only, like, oh, well,
My
at
raising
18, like my last namesake, Poppy Cody. I love him to shit, love him to death, love him that he helps me on this side because he sees the error of his ways, because he gets to, because he had so much shit that when he died that he got to drop that mortal bullshit and got to say, oh God, I was an asshole. So, and he's different now, and he, in that case, he came from dysfunction. He tried to raise his small little clan of little gremlin monkeys, um, which is my biological. That's what I just call that's my biological family. I love them. Like Jan, I love them where they're at. I just don't need their shit. There's only one that I will actually call my aunt. That's my aunt Tiny. Cool as shit, love her, because I got a lot of the hobo, hippie, crystals, incense, witchy stuff from her along too, being raised. So they tried the best they could with what they were handed them for their shit, which wasn't the best. So when their kids had kids when they were still kids, how do I raise them? Well, Poppy Cody just said, get the hell out of the house. So they would just get up out of the house, not take responsibility, and leave and think that they were doing right and then come back because, okay, everything's cooled off, things will be forgiven, like, blah, 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 and things will go on where they left off. Well, my mother's like, get out. You don't want to stay? Get out. And Poppy Cody has now said that this is how what you're doing now with my son is what he wanted. The open relationship, the open dialogue. Granted, I know there's days I have a shit day and I may raise my voice. Not everybody's going to be a perfect parent. Like how Chris said, she goes, I'm afraid I'm going to mess up the kids more versus breaking a cycle and healing. Here's the thing. You want to break that cycle and heal. And usually your firstborn is when you're figuring shit out and you're like, you know what? I didn't like this, or this. I'm not going to do this, or this with this one. But that's the one that's the real resilient one. The one that's going to kickstart your journey saying, I want to be a better person, better mom, better father, better parent, better whatever.
Yes.
And usually that child is the resilient one that walks it with you.
Yes. Before I had my incident with my entity, my dark passenger, I was never going to start smoking. I was never going to start drinking because Dad smoked and he drank a lot. Okay. So that was first most, on my mind all the time. I told her, I'm not going to do that. I told my grandma, my grandpa, and my mom, and my sisters. And then all of a sudden, my dark passenger buys a train ticket without me knowing it. And he didn't buy a ticket. He just jumped in the boxcar. That's weird because Dad used to do that too. But anyway, and it's kind of the way it happens. But it's up to us to correct the situation once we realize there's a situation. I had to go look in the mirror and tell myself that I was the asshole. I was the common denominator. And then I had to figure out why. And I had to ask for help in doing that. So, ladies, thank you for the help. Spirit Mechanics, thank you for the help. Amy Allen and Steve Machete, I can't ever pronounce his last name, from Dead Files, thank you for your help. And it took a lot of work and a lot of time. And I'm still working. 7 years later, I'm still working on it every day.
Well, you're always a work in progress. You're not, yes. Did God's spirit create a perfect being?
No.
No. People think, oh, well, he's the all-knowing, he's all great. You're perfect. You're the one that taints it. Or I love this one. Eve is the problem. Eve ate that, Eve ate the apple. And I go, no, that was a pomegranate, but that's okay. So it's you know what I mean? So it's that's where it comes. And it's like, no.
Jesus was the snake in the Garden of Eden, just saying I'm dropping it.
For me, when I was 16, younger than 16, about the time that my great grandmother died, I was in in 8th grade. And like I said, I watched my grandmother take care of my great grandmother until she died. Mm-hmm. And I watched that relationship and how it changed. And I watched my mother with my grandmother. That's one thing I won't do. I will not take care of her because I'm not going to take that energy. I know it sounds awful, but I'm not going to take her energy. I don't want her energy. Her energy can die with her. It's not going to pass through me. That is how I'm going to change this. I'm not going to take care of you when you're dying. And if she's watching this, she now knows. But
if she didn't know before, then I don't know how to help you.
But when I was 14, that there was something wrong. And I knew that there was something that I needed to fix. And I left. And when I left, I started my family. I married my first husband at 16. I had my first baby at 18. And when I had that baby, I looked at him and said, you will not be subjected to XYZ. Unfortunately, he was to a point, right? Because I always do the kids. I want to go see grandma and grandpa. I would love to go see grandma and grandpa, but your grandmother is evil and we're not going. Oh, I don't think she's evil. She sends me this and she sends me that and she's this and she's that. And then when my son died and we moved down here, all of a sudden my oldest had his eyes reared open. He goes, holy your mother is evil. Yes, yes, she is. Nate figured it out. Derek figured it out. Pat figured it out before he passed. And I'll put a lot of that onto her. Okay. And the crap that she passed on to him in the month that he was with her because he wanted to go to grandma's. And I said, okay, fine. You want my mother? Here you go. Here's my mother.
Well, they have to
You know,
learn too. I mean, you have to learn,
We got to
unfortunately.
let them see for themselves sometimes too.
right. And they saw, but the benefit to that is A, now they know I'm not crazy. And I tell the truth when it comes to her. But B, Dylan doesn't want to raise his kids anywhere near her.
Good.
He doesn't want her to be a part of his life. And that's breaking the cycle, right? And Avelina is never going to know that cycle. That is my vow. Avelina is not going to know that cycle. I'm not going to put her in that predicament. When we do see Therese and we're in town, we go the opposite way. We don't say anything. We just get our stuff. I will leave the cart and I will walk out and I will go. There's 6 other Walmarts in town that we can go to. You know, we're not doing this. I some of the stores on Wednesdays because I know that that's the day that the bar is shut down and that's the day that they go do shopping. So on Wednesdays we stay home or we go to church. Because Lord knows I ain't gonna find her in one of those.
More ways than one why she won't be there.
Well, you know, and that's another thing. And here goes back to so I dug into my past and I was raised Catholic and I'm bringing that back to the kids. It's good morals, it's good teachings, it's good practice, it's good habits. You know, you throw it up when you have a problem. Don't go looking for something else. This is you can find all the answers right here where you need them. And I'm changing that and I'm bringing that back into the family because my family wasn't always like this. So, you know, I know, like I said, she ain't ever going to go to church. Her energy ain't ever going to enter in through that church. And that is where I'm going to hide my children is in his presence in that church.
There you go.
And that's changing that frequency, right? That's bringing more of a love, an acceptance, a way of forgiveness.
You're choosing to love yourself, and you're choosing to love your children and your children's children, children's children's children, and so on and so on. That's all. You're choosing yourself first, and sometimes you have to make that decision. I mean, I was faced with that too. You know, as an older, much older, 21 is when, like, you know, I went to try to go live with the sperm donor, and you know, and my mother, knowing that I had to go find out for you know, she's like, she's got to go find out because my stepfather's like, little, you know, you're gonna let her go. Well, she's got to find out. Like, me telling her isn't gonna do anything because it's just gonna push her. You know what I mean? And even if I look back at it now, if she had told me the truth about a lot of the things, I probably wouldn't have went, which probably would not have caused the trauma when I found out certain things later on that I went, oh my God, about things, and then started questioning a lot of things that happened to me as a younger child.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that because the second that I went and I found the adoption papers, and I remember my grandmother telling me the truth is going to hurt you more than the lie that was told. And when I went and found those adoption papers and I went and I got the truth, yeah, she was right. But if they would have just been honest with me, on how I came about,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have gone looking. I wouldn't have gone searching. I wouldn't have gone because as a child that doesn't know they're a sperm donor, you have that longing, you have that, who am I? What am I? Now, if they would have told me about my conception, I would have just let it lay. I would have just let it lay. I wouldn't have dug. But now I'm 42, going on 43, and I'm like, oh, really? Well, now there's more to the story, and now I don't have the truth, and now I have to dig and find out. And because of you and my conception, the frequency that I have inside of me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of changing to do.
But we're working on that, aren't we?
We're working on it. Dad, you make your choices.
You've been
I
awesome.
mean, I'm not perfect. And I'm grateful for who I am. And I'm grateful when I got away and I changed my frequency and I wasn't always seeking approval. Right?
Or acceptance.
Yes. That there you go. Approval and acceptance. That's the word I was looking for. Have to have that.
No.
Just accept yourself and be approving of yourself and do. And I don't look for
Love yourself.
acceptance and approval with my kids. I have one that doesn't talk to me. You know what? That's fine. If you don't want to talk to me, son, you don't have to. I will always love you and I will be there. But you need to change your frequency.
Yes.
and you know what? And that was the point that I was getting at, is being a mother and being a woman. It is so important. It is so important to watch our heartbeat, our frequency, what we're projecting.
Yeah.
And as a Catholic, I believe that is our job. That is our duty. That is what was given to us. We were given the ability to create life. So therefore, we shouldn't take it for granted. And we are healing. So if we can heal ourselves as women, as mothers, our children will have a better chance of healing themselves.
And they'll see you working on yourself, and that makes it okay for them to work on themselves.
Right. Change your heartbeat. Change that heartbeat.
The ultimate goal is for a succession of this line, or family tree, as I like to put it, is, that branch. Yeah, it branches off and it multiplies because that's what you want. You want the branches to branch off, multiply, but you want those branches, as if you look at the tree and you look at your trunk and then you look at the next big branches. Those are big, solid, core, hanging, heavy, sturdy, rugged, and you want more of that going out. And hopefully, like with me, like I'm begging and I'm praying, especially after this weekend, which blew my mind with my child. Okay. Scout Sunday blew my mind, as we're in a Lutheran church, and he goes, "Is it okay if I get up and go and take communion, Mom?" And I went, "What? Is it okay?" I'm like, and sat there and watched him and bowed his head and pray, and I've never pushed anything on him, ever. He just felt the calling to go. He goes, and I go, "You don't need my permission. Go." And guess who? But you know what? The funny thing is, guess who followed him right after and stood, not next to him, but near him. And here comes one of my friends running from the back pew, sitting next to me, gives me the elbow and says, "Hey, it's good to see you up here." And which is good, and then I go the times that, back to going to Chris's, comment. There is, where you find a mother, right? You will always find a mom who thinks that she's fucking it up somehow towards their children somehow. And they will always sit there and they will always go, I'm not good enough. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do this.
That one.
But yes, but you're not fucking it up. That's something that we have to fight, that we are programmed because of frequency of past mothers, and then sometimes they're, like in Keith's case, needed to be mom and dad. So you have moms and you have dads, and you also have your father's mother. You have to remember that whatever line that you look at, your genetic code, mom is somewhere. So you always think that you're going to be fucking up along the way. Always. But when your kid does something that blows your mind and you just go, oh my God, I guess I didn't screw up after all.
You know you did something right.
And I did something right.
So, and on the family tree, you have trees that have their own genetic coding, right? That's just the way that it is. It's okay to be that seed to roll away from your family tree to plant a new one. And that's kind of what I'm doing, right? It's not kind of what I am doing that. I have taken myself off that family tree branch and I have rolled down the hill and I planted a seed and I'm starting my family tree over.
Yeah,
it is okay to be the limb that breaks off, that sticks into the ground and replants into another tree. Because sometimes those family trees, I just gleeked all over the computer. Sometimes those family trees, I'm sure everybody saw that too.
I didn't.
I
didn't see anything.
See, I said spread, go and spread, and what did I do?
Your but it's true. Sometimes on that, like you have those roots that are deep, dark in there, holding into the foundation of the of the earth, because those roots grab hold and they're supposed to make sure that tree doesn't wobble, fall down. But shit happens. Lightning hits that tree, or
the tree
dies.
Right?
I mean, it does happen, or it becomes diseased by somebody or something.
Something to keep in mind is it is also scientifically proven that in the forest, trees, the roots, they communicate to each other. If one tree is having a hard time, other trees will feed it through the roots. It's a form of intelligence.
Yeah.
But through the roots, they communicate. We communicate with our ancestors through the roots. If you need to cut off a toxic ancestor, you pull that root. You don't cut that cord. You pull that root out.
I always think of like Jesse and I watch the show where they do the logs. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they go through and the arbitress know which tree is dying and which tree is sick. So what do? They cut it down because the trees underneath need the light for them to grow, right? So the tree has to fall in order for the new to survive. So when you have that toxic family, like we said, pull that. Just go plant your tree and go raise your family under your frequency that you are healing.
Yes, because that toxic family member will try to just fill out above everything else so that you get no sunlight.
And just because you cut off a branch, right, and you take yourself off that little branch, that seed, or that branch, and what happens with this, you put it in the ground, it will reroot. Doesn't mean those roots don't and will not communicate with past roots.
And here's the thing, it's like antibodies, right? We build up antibodies through breastfeeding. And I was talking to Jesse about this, right? Tribes that society has not touched and the Western world has not touched, they have every single woman in that tribe breastfeeds every single child in that tribe. Why? Because they all have different antibodies. So in saying that, with energy and frequency, you know, go ahead, cut yourself off and grow those antibodies against that negativity, right? Make sure that when you bring it, you bring the antidote, you bring the healing, you bring the stronghold of not letting that happen again.
Yeah.
And recognize the patterns. The whole world is based off of patterns. Your life is based off of patterns. That's that frequency, that's that energy, right? Recognize the patterns, and before it happens, take a step back, breathe, reanalyze the situation, and say, you know what? This is insanity. And what is Einstein's definition of insanity? As Jesse always says, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. So if you're continuously doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same results, stop. Rethink your situation. Take yourself out of that situation. Pray, meditate, do whatever you do. I mean, I find myself, I'm like, oh my God, I just sound like my mother and I don't like that. I'm going to pray, I'm going to go give it, and I'm just going to let it be. And I'm going to not do that again. And I'm going to change my tone. I'm going to change my mannerisms.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen. I won't allow it to happen. I will do anything that it takes to change the situation so that way I don't reinvest my tree.
Yep.
My roots, my ground.
Is Zelda in your room?
Yes. It's
Okay.
like black walnuts. Nothing can grow around a black walnut tree. Why? Because the walnut is poison. Not even another black walnut tree will grow around it.
But black walnut extract kills parasites in humans.
Right.
But you can't take too much of it because it will have an adverse effect on you. All things in moderation, including toxic family members.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So healing starts with you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
I mean, and if you choose not, if you think, like you choose not to do it, I'm going to tell you something. I can speak from experience. I chose it for myself because I saw things in my mother. I love you, Ma, but there were things in my mother that I said I wasn't going to be. And that's why my mother will always say, Renee is my best friend. Renee's my protector. Renee says the things that, I'm a good Catholic girl, I would never say. Like Renee sees she always says Renee sees the world very black and white. And I go, with some situations they are black and white, but I do see a little bit of the gray, and that's kind of like where I like to be, but my mother's sense, she goes, I don't know where she came from. Like I don't know. I mean, I do, but I don't know. Like, I don't know who embodies her, who like it's got to be somebody from her father's side, and then it's got to be the Wolves or the Karsts, or it's the Codys, or it's it's the Robins, or whatever it may be, and I said, I think I take a little bit of everyone that I have discovered, because you remember my big thing with everybody is you need to know where the fuck you come from if you don't know how to fix yourself. Yeah. Because there could have been something, like I said, my grandmother and my grandmother on my mother's side and the grandmother on my grandfather's side. I understand where my insanity comes from. Black Forest Gypsy on my grandfather's side. My mother's side, it's another Germanic tribe. So I understand a lot of things and things that happened and why I gravitate to certain things. And my mother just says I'm just the warrior sent to protect her, because she was just, what am I going to do? 5 years old, lose my mom. That's a big traumatic event at 5. Mm-hmm. And that lived with her whole life, in a time period My mother was born 1960, so lost her mother in 65. This is 1965. Men don't raise girls.
Nope.
The state comes in
Yep.
and says, "Is there family to be had?" And the family went around my grandfather and made sure that my mother wasn't taken. But in that process, it's a lot of me. It was different. I
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I get a little offstandish, and I can fight the battle, and I have a sword and I have a shield and I can fight because my mother couldn't have that. So that's why she always says I'm her protector, and I get it. And that's how I am with him. But I can put my sword and my shield down because that boy, you disrespect his mama, like you're the mama bear. You disrespect his mama, his teeth are longer and sharper than mine. And it's amazing
Oh, my daughter.
in the last 6 months. And it may be because we're heading up onto his 18th birthday. Maybe this is, the thing. Then again, he's my Pisces, Aquarius, Pisces. He's got
My
the best
daughter.
of both worlds.
My daughter will get that head bob going and the finger out, and she
Mhm.
will say her words, but it
Yeah.
drives me nuts because she got it from her mama.
Well,
Dylan's the same. Dylan stands up and he's like, "That is my mom."
Thankful. Yes.
mhm,
It doesn't matter if it's his siblings, which I'm very grateful that he's like, "That's my mom." Of
mhm.
course, like we said, the oldest grows up with us. They see us. They see the change that we've made. And like on my case, I don't know my family's background on 99.99% of it. So I can't sit down and say that XYZ. I don't know who I represent my family. My great grandmother always said I was just me. Um,
Sometimes that's all you
Oh,
need to
well,
be, and
and
that's nothing wrong with that.
maybe that's why planting my own tree
Mhm.
is what needed to happen because I changed this frequency.
yep.
Keep your closing words because we're almost past due.
I think we covered about everything on this. Just remember, as you're healing, it is okay to seclude yourself so that you
Mhm.
can do your shadow work, go through your dark night of the soul. But don't forget, you still got kids out there. You still got grandkids out there. I am at fault for this with working on the house, healing myself, this, that, the other thing. I don't spend enough time with them. So this summer, I'm going to do my best to try to compensate for that a little bit. I want to take them up to the Henry Dooley Zoo. I want to take them up to the Children's Zoo in Lincoln. We're going to go fishing. We go camping. And we're probably just going to hang out and cook some burgers this summer. Um, Go out target shooting with my daughter and her husband. Um, they got bows and crossbows. I got a crossbow. We got pew pews and stuff like that. Sight in, and you can't say the word on here, so it's pew pews. Pew pew pew. Um, you got the magic powder that goes in the shell, and and the boom thing that goes in to
Boomstick.
expand the magic powder, and then you got the pew pew. Anyway,
Boomstick.
I digress. Um,
And make your own traditions, pave your own path with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's what I'm doing with my grandkids. I take a lot of what I mean. My grandmother and my great grandmother were amazing towards me. To me, it doesn't matter the type of mother that they were, because I got the best of both worlds, and I always just wanted to be a mom and I wanted to be a grandma. And with Jesse, it's easy, and creating our own memories with the grandkids and still being there for our children at the same time. It's
yeah. And if you're in a relationship and there are grandkids, and one person loves to spend a lot of time with the grandkids, and the other one doesn't like children, doesn't like to be around kids, whatever, they drive them nuts. Allow the other partner to go spend time with the grandkids. Okay? Give them an hour, and then take your leave. That way they can see you, get to know you, but allow your spouse, your partner, to spend time with those grandbabies. Same with kids.
Isn't that the goal though? Like, isn't being a grandparent the goal?
I mean, that's the ultimate end
Just
game.
kids.
You know,
Give me the grandkids.
a certain somebody. He's no longer with us. I mean, he said, get married young,
Interesting.
go have kids. Get married young, go have kids. That's what you're supposed to do.
That way
Well,
you
I
get
followed
grandkids.
that down to a T, didn't I?
And go have babies. Go have babies. And stop with this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. There's not enough money. I'm not going to figure. There's ways. There's things
ways.
to do it. Because
Yeah.
it can be done.
I fulfilled my Catholic obligation. I'm just saying.
Renee
laughs.
I was going to save up. I was going to go to college, get a good job, then have kids after I paid all the debt off. Guess what?
And then what would happen by the time that would happen? What? No.
It wouldn't have happened. So
just go have kids.
Took it upon itself to say, here's a busted condom. Merry Christmas.
I was never supposed to have kids. I was told that it was going to be a near impossibility for me to ever conceive after I lost my first child. And here I am. I have a house full.
Yes, you do. And they are wonderful.
She wasn't even freaked out. She was okay with it. Sorry.
But in this process, while these two are laughing over here, I will give my last 5 cents, or wooden nickel is the word that I'm hearing from my grandfather. So give out wooden nickels. Okay. Give yourself grace. Give yourself mercy. Okay. Don't be such a hard ass on yourself. I'm speaking from experience.
Forgive yourself.
Be good to yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Sometimes you gotta love yourself where you're at too. Not just other people. And not that way, Scorpio.
No. What are you saying is bad for me, Keith?
What?
What are you saying it's bad for me? Why can't I do that?
I'm not.
I like taking matters in my own hands.
It's healthy. It aligns the chakras. Instantly aligns the chakras. Boom.
It might align them, but it may not heal them if they're broken. Just saying. They still need work done. But not in that way. But like Chris said, so healing, Reiki, frequency, aura work, etc. Shadow work. Yes. Shadow work.
Sorry.
If you want to change the future and trajectory of your family,
yes,
it starts with you. And in the process, you can break that and be the generational curse breaker. Because in the process, when you do that, you heal others back. And when they are healed, they give you things moving forward. That will then be going on to future generations later.
Absolutely.
So just be good to yourself and others.
And on that note,
not in that way.
It's been 48 hours. That's all I got to say. So actually, it's 72.
It's been about 2.5 years.
Renee? Look at her turn red.
I'm staying quiet. That's my business and nobody else's.
Just a back rub.
Chris,
It's
yeah,
none.
right? She goes,
Yeah, just a back rub. Just a tip. Oh, I
anyway.
slipped.
My bad. Let me back it up a little.
Chris, take one thing at a time. Don't do it all together.
Yeah, don't take two. Don't take two.
In one lump sum. I'm telling you.
And accept help.
You can go get energy work and Reiki done. That might actually jumpstart your healing process, which then will jumpstart your shadow work. So
And
I always say start with that first.
warning label: when your healing gets jump started and your shadow work gets jump started, your dark night of the soul will get jump started.
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And ask for fucking help.
Yep. Make sure you ask for help. Your guides, your angels, your spirits, your ancestors. Say, I need you. Please help me. What do I need to do? What, if you're at a crossroads and there's crossroads and they're sitting there with the, and there's the pole and there's the direction and they're saying, hey, this, and then you're sitting there and you're looking and you're going, but that's dark and scary. And I don't want to do that. But that other side looks like it's more fun. I hate to tell you, the one that sometimes that the light side, guess where you meet? It's going to be a little longer and it's going to be a little harder and it's going to be really rugged and really tough. And you're going to go through a lot of shit. But guess what? I hate to tell you, sometimes around that last bend, guess where? It meets up with the exact same road that you should have taken, which was the dark side.
Yeah, either way, you're going to get there.
Either way, you're going to come to the same freaking crossroad. And there may be another post going which way. You make your decision.
If you go the easy way, you might not learn everything you need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to hit another rough road. Okay.
Yep.
And see, you had crossroads. No, I had a single 2-lane highway. And then all of a sudden, there was a big rock with a cave painted on it with a roadrunner sitting over there.
So there's a song, God bless the broken road that led me here to you.
Yes.
Why? And I will stand by this until the day that I die. Gravestone, okay? The road to heaven is not evenly paved. You have to go through hell. You have to go through the trenches in order to appreciate the heaven on the other side.
I mean, to bring Catholicism into it, what happened? Jesus died on the third day. Where did he go?
He
had to go through hell first to get to the golden road. So
that's right.
He went to hell himself, just saying.
Went to hell, pulled all the Jews up and said, okay. And Jesus was tempted by the devil. How many times?
A lot.
So you remain true in yourself. Appreciate the road through hell. Appreciate it.
They teach.
Make it your bitch. Learn from it.
Yeah, you learn from it. If you walk in half-assed, you're not going to learn the real lessons that you need to pick up along the way. And you're not going to drop the shit that you need to drop on that road at that exact minute. Because when you're on that shitty-ass road and you drop that, go, wait a minute. So if I do this, this, and this, and I look at this, this, and this, oh, shit. If I can drop this here, oh, it stays there.
The easiest way to lose your baggage.
Sit down next to your demon. Take the collar and the chain off of your neck. Put it around that one. You're going to fucking work for me now, not the other way around. And Chris, I want you to remember something. We go through hurdles every fucking day, but guess what? You have gotten over every one of them that you ever been through to get to this now moment. So be proud of yourself.
Exactly. I mean, it may look like we have all our shit together. I'm going to tell you something. It's been dark. It's been horrible. There's been shit that I've been going through. You know what? Today I got out of bed and I took a shower. That's all I got today.
Yay.
Yay for me. You know what? I got out of bed, which means, like, I like to call it my depressive hair state, where you get like all the gnats and it's just a rat's nest and it just sits there. When I woke up this morning and said, I'm done, went and took a shower, washed my hair. That's
That's
it.
Evelina's natural state.
Yes, I've seen it. I'm a witness. And trying to get that girl to hold still long enough to brush her hair.
She's a wild one, and she's meant to be that way, Mama, for a purpose and a reason.
Same way with my chow. I can brush her for
I mean, she's
4
meant.
minutes and then she's done.
Abby's everything I prayed for. That is my healing. Is that little girl?
You asked for
She's simply perfect in every way. Oh my God, that's
Yes.
Mary Poppins.
Spoonful of sugar.
Sugar, and she's perfectly in every way. So I mean, she's her, and she's meant to be a wild one for a certain purpose.
She's me.
Maybe for Mom to realize that maybe she needs to put her hair down and find a little wild streak too.
We don't want to. We don't want to go through that again. Okay, we're like 16 minutes over.
Yeah,
and there's a show.
We got to give Cindy time for her to get in here and get her for her show on becoming universally aligned. I think. Am I close?
Yes, you're perfect. Okay. Universally aligned. Yes.
Great show. Her guest canceled, and she invited me to come on, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I threw my back out Friday and finally got to the chiropractor today after work, and I'm getting pretty sore. So I messaged her. Don't think I can. So I'm probably going to go hit the heating pad. Yeah.
Okay, so next week is you and Joni.
Yes.
And then the week after that, we have guests. We have Scott and Tim from the Paranormal Jackass, two men that I absolutely love and adore. And I haven't done a podcast with them in a long time. And I am so excited for everybody to meet them. So tune in a couple of weeks and you'll get to meet the jackasses of the paranormal world.
I could fit right in there.
You will. We all can. So until I see you guys, I love you where you're at and have an amazing 2 weeks.
Y'all too, thank you for tuning in. And me and Joni will see you next Monday.
Be good to yourselves.